Start off your afternoons with Ashton and Selo, as they calm your nerves and shine a light into your life. This is the afternoon show with Ashton and Selo.
Thanks for tuning in here to the afternoon show. Today, Ashton and I will be discussing the huge movement around sexual assault and harassment that is now known as the hashtag #MeToo. We'll cover that, plus Ashton's song spotlight and uplifting prank calls. But first, enjoy this song. It's called Fall Apart by Janessa Everest.
Falling apart like a broken toy, and I've tried keeping myself together, but the gears won't turn from the lessons that I've learned. Always thinking I was teaching myself better, and now it's strange to feel so completely unreal, 'cause I'm done trying to repair. I'm not a work in progress or broken object. I'm just too tired to care. Fall apart. Oh, yeah, fall apart. Yeah, yeah. Just fall apart. Oh, yeah, fall apart. Yeah, yeah. Falling apart like a broken toy. Yeah, I'm done with picking up the pieces, and there's just no use stitching ends that are loose, 'cause they'll only break again. Yeah, I'm not perfect, and now it's clear to see it. I'm not a tragedy, I'm simply letting it all go. Fall apart. Oh, yeah, fall apart. Yeah, yeah. Just fall apart. Oh, yeah, fall apart. Yeah, yeah. And I'm not broken, I'm just letting myself fall apart. And maybe I've chosen to give up on thinking that I've gotta mend this heart. Fall apart. Oh, yeah, fall apart. Yeah, yeah. Just fall apart. Oh, yeah, fall apart. Yeah, yeah. Fall apart. Oh, yeah, fall apart. Yeah, yeah. Just fall apart.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around. We really appreciate it. Ashton, are you there?
I am here.
Excellent. Now, before we dive into this topic, I wanted to set an intention for this episode to be a place of non-judgment and healing. This is a very sensitive topic, and I want to make sure that we do it the right way with open minds and open hearts. Now, obviously, we're both males, so we're coming from that perspective. But I think it's really important. It's a really important topic for men to talk about. We've also, you and I, from what I understand, have both been sexually assaulted. So it's not like we're here talking about things that we don't understand or haven't happened to us. We've both
Very
been there.
true.
So this episode will be mostly a male perspective, but I will also include some survivor stories from women at the end of the show so that we can include the women's voice.
I love that.
Yeah. No, this topic is really, it's taking over headlines as many people are starting to come out saying that they've been sexually assaulted. Many celebrities, sports athletes, people in all different walks of life are coming out with their stories of being assaulted. It's grabbing all kinds of headlines left and right. And just recently, Time magazine named the Silence Breakers, who are people who helped to start this movement, Person of the Year. This is something that I'm sure it's been happening for a very long time, but why all of a sudden is it becoming such a big thing in the news and in the collective? Ashton, I'll start with you.
There has been a huge shift recently, which is, to me, it's like the greatest thing ever. That I think because there's so many big cases of it happening, people feel like their voice is heard. Because in the past, when you have something like this happen to you, a lot of times, especially when you think say a celebrity does this to you, you feel as if you're just a normal person, your voice doesn't matter, and instead of telling anyone, you just keep it to yourself because you're scared. But now the environment on a global scale is very, people are getting fired. Their Netflix shows being canceled, Matt Lauer being fired. Like, the world is totally flipping over because people feel safe all of a sudden, I think.
Definitely. And, you bring up a good point how, a lot of people when they are like that, maybe they feel like they're just like, I'm not that important, but I'm with this really important person and I don't want to, upset them or make them think I'm a bad person or whatever. And so I think that is a good point. It's really cool to see this really becoming a big thing and to see the response that is happening. Like Harvey Weinstein may be the most infamous person in this like sexual assault group, and he's been a huge person for all kinds of movies, and to see him really being shunned by the Hollywood community, I think we are beginning to have a turning point with our society. I think that sexuality is one of the most important aspects of our lives, and the fact that we've had so much trauma with it, it's really affecting our lives. But the fact that this is starting to bubble up in our society, this issue is really becoming the forefront of our culture, I think is a really good sign, because when things like this come up, we're able to look at them, we're able to begin the healing process.
Fully. I mean, it's showing us in so many different ways that we've become disconnected from each other and from respect of each other and the sacredness of honoring someone else's body and their consent and boundaries, as well as, just between ourselves and honoring who we really are deep down and who, what it means to be human and our roles here on earth. I think a large role, I've been thinking about this since we thought of the show idea, and I think, religion and male-dominated patriarchy plays a big role in this, for, still to this day in the Middle East, women aren't allowed to show their skin because they're thought of as lesser than men.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that I want to, kind of get into. One thing that I think is clear about, sexual assault is that more often than not, it's men assaulting women. We've seen a lot of women come out with allegations against men, and it does happen the other way around. But let's talk a little bit about why it's men doing this to women. Do you think it's because the way we're built. Obviously, men are usually bigger than women. Do you think there was a point in our civilization where maybe we took a bad turn, maybe when the dogma of religion started, or what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, if I really think about like the source, I mean, even in, the supposed start of our whole all being human, like in the Bible, the Adam and Eve story, like, Eve and even Lilith, his first partner of the stories, like they were, eventually cast aside as like the ones who ruined everything, and it's because of Eve that like all of humanity sucks, or like we have to have pain and for childbirth, and that we don't live eternally, and all of that. It's like the religious texts have really thrown women as this lesser creation, and it's crazy.
It is crazy. So I think it's important that we as men in this issue begin to create a better kind of culture, like you said, a consent culture. And there was a talk that Paradigm Shift Central did, and our friend Breezy was on there. She was talking about things, and she kind of came out with a list of how you can make sure that you have consent, because sometimes, even if we don't realize what we're doing, sometimes we can create that assault or a feeling of assault. And so I think it's really important that we as men begin to take that more seriously and begin to, make sure that we have people's consent, that we have a girl's consent to do whatever it is we're going to do. In that talk on Paradigm Shift, they made another great point, was that some girls, like, if they're with somebody that they look up to and that they've heard on the radio or whatever, they may not be really into it, but it's hard for them to say no. So if somebody's like being really pushy and they're like, I don't know about that, and the male continues to push for it, like that could be considered assault. So maybe we begin to like look at things, and if somebody's very unsure of something, or you can tell they're like a little uneasy, definitely, kind of stop that there and make sure that we begin to talk about it. I'm wondering, what do you think are some ways that we could, as men, begin to respect women's bodies, women's sexuality, and all that stuff more?
I think it really starts with learning how gender roles have skewed our perspective of what it means to be a man, and how these like self-prescribed like formulas of how to be a man have just been fed to us since we're born. Like as a man, you're expected to like not feel and not talk about your problems and just suck it up and just provide for the family and mask your feelings and don't cry. And until we really get in touch with what we've been through as men and what it means to respect our own bodies and our own feelings, then we can't really be expected to know how to treat another person, because we haven't got in touch with the true divine masculine and our own inner divine feminine and our own connection to the divine and us as souls, and having a soul, and not being scared of the afterlife. It's like a lot of this religion is like, oh, well, because you're just a man, because you're just a woman, like you're judged by God and you're lesser for just being a human, and and like you're like suppressed in all these ways by your gender and by your race, and so you end up acting out like you see like the priest, all the Catholic priests are like raping little boys, because like their religion has them fearful and out of touch with their own sexuality. So they act out because the energy can't express itself in a natural way. It's like this distorted perspective we have of what it means to be a man. And I feel like if we learn to respect ourselves, they say you can't love another till you love yourself. And, I think we obviously should become so much more aware of what women's boundaries are and all of that. But I feel deep down that we'll naturally, intuitively know those things once we get in touch with ourselves.
Yeah, I've been noticing that a lot of men, a lot of males, have been supporting this movement for the women, and they've been holding signs saying, things like consent is sexy or something like that. Like, I think it is important that we do begin to look within to learn how to love ourselves. And then also, when we do that, we can be a good example for other men and for other generations. And as we continue to build that, then our culture will begin to turn into one that is consent-oriented.
I love that.
Sweet. And we did do an episode on self-love as a tribute to Louise Hay, and in that I remember very specifically she said that any kind of human problems, it all comes down to self-love. And so I think what you're saying about learning to love ourselves and to love what's within ourselves and to begin to learn how to do that, it will begin to change our culture. So I think that's a really good point, Ashton.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I've noticed in myself, like through meditation or going to festivals and getting in nature more, like I feel more connected to my body and to myself. And through that process, I have naturally started honoring others' feelings more in their space. And, before my awakening, who knows how I really interacted with people, but now it's like I'm present with people, because I found presence within myself. And I've just noticed this natural shift in my own behavior by getting more and doing self-work. It's like, it's easy to project and say what others need to do, but until you really change, nothing's going to change.
Excellent. So this has been a very, like I said, sensitive topic, but I think what we discussed here, if we want to change this, rape culture, we need to heal ourselves first. We need to go within and heal all that sexual trauma that we've been through, because I feel like over half of the population have had a sexual assault. So after we go through that, there's a lot of trauma there. And so when we can go within and begin to heal that trauma, then we could be a good role model. We could be a good example for how others can heal, and then how others can act. Maybe people who haven't gone through something like that, they can see, how we're handling everything, and they'd be like, okay, wow. So it really is a good thing to ask for consent before I pounce on somebody.
Right. Or you just had me thinking, almost like most men, right when we're born, we don't have consent to what happens to us, with circumcision and that, we're pretty much disrespected at birth and then just sent out into the world, and it's our most intimate area. So, and we're just discovering this as we're older, and we've been, it's certain things have been normalized so much that people don't question it anymore. And that's what's really weird.
So I think it's been it's been a very powerful topic. I think this is one that we definitely needed to talk about, and especially being as men, because there's a lot of women telling their stories and coming out and talking about this, but I think it's really important that the men come out and talk about this too, because sometimes we're the main causes of the problem. So if we can heal that, I think we're good. Do you have any final comments before we get into your song spotlight? Just learn to respect each other and learn to respect yourself, and
it can make a world of difference.
Perfect. I love it. All right. So let's go ahead and get into your song spotlight.
All right. The song I chose today is by a group called One Tribe, and the song is called In This Together, and I think the lyrics will speak for themselves.
Power? Is there a higher intelligence? What do you believe in?
This is what I believe. Every great religion in the world, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, essentially comes down to do unto others as you would like them to do unto you. And what I have believed in my whole life, I believed it when I was a 22-year-old kid getting arrested in Chicago fighting segregation. I believed it in my whole life. That we are in this together.
What if we are the one the world's been waiting for to be the change, be the change. Yeah, every man was once a child, and every child has felt the rain, feel the rain. Yeah, while we tripping on differences, what will it take to realize that we are all one? I am your father, I am your mother, I am your sister, I am your brother. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Peaceful warrior nation, right here and right now. Lift up the vibration, open your hands, open your heart. May we be like the water. Let go of the fear, flow with the river. There is only love, love, love. We are in this together. Yeah, yeah. We are in this together.
One tribe, one organism. Come to bring a better way to Babylon system. Can you feel the burn? Can you see the vision? Back to the roots where the people make decisions. Hey, yeah, time for intervention. Come now on the medicine mission. Yes, the healing of the nation. Make way for the leaders who will listen, listen, listen. Yeah. Make way for the leaders who will listen, 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 listen. Hey, yeah, make way for the leaders who will listen, listen, listen. Yeah. Make way for the leaders who will listen, 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 listen.
And that's just not words. The truth is, at some level, when you hurt, when your children hurt, I hurt.
Who we are?
We are in this together. Yeah.
One people, one nation, one tribe.
We are in this together. Yeah.
One people, one nation, one tribe. One people, one family.
We are in this together. Yeah.
One people, one nation, one tribe.
We are in this together. Like the sun dances on the water, wind in the trees, moonrise and we watch it. This is our song, shared it for so long. Healing comes so strong, we come to know God we honor. Now is the moment, here is our chance. Empower each other, everyone must stand. Return to the mother, return to the land, and love one another. Give a helping hand, cause our hands are only as strong as the hearts that wield them. Connected so deeply, now can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? I see it on the horizon, like a stampede rolling in, 100,000 strong, and we come from every nation. We're carrying the medicine. Can you feel it? Like the sun at daybreak, we're light on its way. The seeds that's growing turns to the sea. Of one mind is how we must be. We are chosen, yeah. Peaceful warrior nation, right here and right now. Lift up the vibration, open your hands, open your heart. May we be like the water, let go of the fear, flow with the river. There is only love, love, who we are in this together. Yeah, yeah.
One people, one nation, one tribe.
We are in this together. Yeah, yeah.
One people, one family.
We are in this together. Yeah, yeah.
One people, one nation, one tribe.
We are in this together. Yeah, yeah.
Who we are.
We are in this together. Yeah, yeah.
They try to keep us separated, but we're coming back together.
We are in this together.
No matter what they say, we really need each other.
We are in this together.
One people, one nation, one tribe.
We are in this together.
One people, one nation, one tribe. One people, one family. One people, one nation, one tribe. One people, one family. One people, one nation, one tribe. One people, one family. One people, one nation, one tribe. One people, one family.
Okay, wow, that was a really beautiful song, and I really appreciate you showcasing that to all of us, Ashton.
Absolutely. I was blessed to see them live when I played Unify Fest in New Mexico last year, and I've been in love with it ever since.
Awesome. It kind of reminded me of a song called Unify by Srikala Naloka.
Yeah, Tubby Love is in that one too. Him
cool.
and his, I can't remember the girl that sings on that song, but they're in one tribe, and Tubby Love is like the main guy behind it, and he's like the leader.
Cool.
But he also has his own solo project called Tubby Love. You can look up.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and get into our final segment of today, the uplifting prank calls.
Uplifting prank calls.
Thank you for calling.
Hi, I just wanted to call and let you know that I really appreciate you getting up in the morning and going to work and putting in all the effort that you do just to get yourself by. And I think it's really amazing that you try as hard as you do. And I just want to congratulate you for everything that you've done.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you too.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
May I ask who's calling?
This is just a friend, so I just want to wish you a super good day.
Well, thank you. I wish you that too. And have a very
you.
happy holiday.
Oh, you too.
Thank you.
Yep. Have a wonderful
Bye-bye.
one.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Hello?
Hi there. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. This is it's just a random call. I just wanted to call and wish you a happy holidays and hope that you have a really, really great day today.
Okay.
That's all I'm calling for.
Okay. And what is your name and where are you from?
I am a friend in the Cumberland, Maryland area. I'm just giving out some calls, hoping to spread some holiday cheer.
Okay. You have a great day, too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Uplifting prank calls.
And there we go.
Aww.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this uplifting prank calls. It seemed like they were really appreciative, and they just really accepted the cheer that we were trying to spread to them.
Yeah, people need a little extra love.
Definitely. So, any final comments for this episode, Ashton?
I just want to thank everyone for listening, and thank you for having me on, and hope everyone has a magical day.
Beautiful. Well, usually I end the show with another song, but like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm going to end this with some sexual assault survivors who are sharing their Me Too stories. So enjoy, and hope you all have a great day.
He then put his hand over my mouth and kept yelling shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up. And he pulled my pants down. I think my body went numb.
I was wearing a floor-length skirt, a Tampa Bay Buccaneers t-shirt, and an olive green hooded sweatshirt and a pair of Puma sneakers when I was raped on my dorm room floor.
Around the age of 5, that's when I began to experience sexual assault.
And this guy I was looking at throughout the night came and offered me a drink.
And he was about 14, 15 years old.
The next thing I remember was being on this mattress.
And as I went to open the front door of my car, he put his hand on it and said, stop, and then grabbed me by the back of the shirt and pulled me into the back seat.
That's when he just took the icing off the cake and raped me as a child.
And he kept on telling me how much I liked it and how much I enjoyed it.
I just remember sitting in the shower for 4 hours just trying to get clean.
It took me years to forgive myself and tell myself that I did not let that happen.
Girls, boys are killing themselves.
And so we have to dispel the myth that this is a gender issue. This is a power issue.
It's a type of violence that gets in and destroys you slowly.
I didn't even think that I was lovable anymore. I'm dirty. Why would you want to be with me? I've been discarded.
There was a point in my life when the grief was just too much. I started the act of trying to hang myself, and to hear myself choking, I couldn't get past it.
I don't want a pity party this happened to me, but I got through it.
I got into therapy. I have a therapist. I'm in group therapy. It's still really, really, really hard.
It's something that has defined me as a woman today, and it will continue to define me, but in all of the amazing ways, none of the negative ways.
I want to make it very clear that every single survivor's story is different, and for me, I don't deal with this on a daily basis.
Sexual assault takes years, if not a lifetime, to heal from.
It is possible to heal. We have to do it on our own terms. It's going to look different for everyone.
Don't be scared to say I need help.
With us all together as one, we can change this.
I don't even know. No one asked for this, and it sucks that this happens. But we can all do better.